Hey guys, I figured I would do a top 5 pro tip guide for No Man's Sky. Um, no need to keep you guys waiting, let's get into it. Alrighty, so the first thing that I don't think a lot of people know about because it's not explicitly said is about derelict freighters. And they are abandoned freighters floating around on the edges of systems that reward nanites, tainted metal, really just valuable materials. And they also reward these files that you can turn back into the scrap dealer who gives you the coordinates for the freighters to begin with. And those files can be transferred to him for more tainted metal. And what you can do with this tainted metal is you can take it and refine it into just a ton of nanites. Like look at this, I'm getting almost 2,000 nanites for a freighter that took me 15 minutes to do. So it is pretty solid work, pretty easy nanite farm, as well as just know that there's only one derelict freighter in each star system. So if you try to use a different signal scanner that you purchased from in the same star system, it will take you to the same freighter again. Now this could be a limitation, or it could be a good loot farm, just depending on what you found in the freighter. So it's completely up to you. It's funny because I didn't know what this video was going to be about when I started it. I know that there was a big update today, plenty of patch notes, but I feel like Captain Steve, Professor Cynical, Jason Plays, all them, it's going to get plenty of reporting on. And that brings me to number 2. Did you guys know that every time you enter a new star system station, you can purchase an additional Exosuit Inventory slot? And this is extremely important because, as well as help you carry more materials, you can further upgrade your suit, your shielding, your translators, and most importantly, your environmental protection. So I'll show you right here. You go to the station like this, and you'll pick where you want the slot. In my case, it costs 207,000 nanites, but in the beginning, when you're first starting out, it is rather cheap. I think the first 1 or 2 is free, and then they are pretty cheap there going forward until you get to a point like I am where you have plenty of slots to go around. As we go through these, I just want to thank you guys for watching. I really appreciate it. And if you guys enjoy the video, if you found it useful, if you could give me a like and possibly check out my other No Man's Sky videos. I make them starting this Wednesday, every Wednesday. I feel like it was important to start getting on a consistent schedule. I work a job where I really have a lot of time, a lot of free time to make videos, but I'm starting a new job soon, so I was like, okay, gotta sit down and make a consistent schedule and put it out there. But the next tip I'm going to give you guys that is not explicitly told is if you fly into an asteroid field, see if you can find one, and you can mine asteroids by shooting them, and they will give you precious materials such as gold, nickel, platinum, silver, all those really valuable metals, as well as they will give you tritium, which you can use for your pulse drive. So super important. And you can also get tritium clusters, which will give you much more tritium in a single go. You can scan in space, as you know, like scanning planets, and you can also scan asteroids, and they'll show you which ones are rich in tritium, which is super important, especially if you're playing a role-play game like me, where you set your settings to that the shops don't sell tritium, and then it'll help your pulse drives. As well as tritium hyperclusters are important for later upgrades for your ship's engines. You can also get anomaly scanners occasionally out of asteroids, which can be helpful. They'll help you find deep space objects, which can give you random materials if you encounter them, such as like carbon or atlantium or just other interesting things. It's hard to explain it without actually seeing it, but I unfortunately don't have an anomaly scanner on me. So for this next tip, we are going to land on this planet. It doesn't have a harsh environment, thankfully, but I will explain something that No Man's Sky does not explain to any of its new players, and I've seen a lot of people really surprised to find out. So you see that sodium patch in the background here. I'm going to run over to it. I know it's been a few years since I played the tutorial, but I vividly remember that it tells you to collect sodium to recharge your hazard protection, which is correct. It does, especially if you get lucky like I did, found this nice little sodium patch. But what the game doesn't tell you is that there are alternative fuels, and there are various kinds of alternative fuels for almost everything in the game. Like, for example, your ship launch fuel can be completely replaced with uranium. And for example, like, these alternative fuels oftentimes cost much less and are much more easier to find than the primary fuels that it suggests. Like, I'm going to show you, each elemental hazard has an alternate fuel. You can use deoxite for your blizzard protection, phosphorus for your heat protection, as well as you can use ammonia for your toxic protection, and then uranium for your radiation protection. It's just a little something to know, but it's super important, and while I'm going to have it, it is absolutely crucial that you guys upgrade your hazard protection, because there are many planets that have severe hazards, and you're not going to survive very long on them with just one hazard protection shield. Derelict Freighters, which I mentioned in the beginning of the video, have extreme cold, so you're not going. I remember when I first got on those ships, and I came in with one shield. I struggled the whole way through, could never complete one until I got at least 2 shields. You're obviously going to want to be able to complete this Derelict Freighter so that you can farm as many materials as you can, nanites, and those very sweet resources, as well as they have what they call extreme weather planets, and these planets have storm crystals that spawn whenever the weather gets really violent there. And these are great because they are worth quite a bit, and they can be combined with antimatter to make warp hypercores, which completely refill your warp drive. And I don't even mess with the singular, these smaller warp cores. I only use the hypercores. So they're definitely worth the time and investment. Your shields are obviously your most important thing, both your physical battle shield as well as your hazard shields. So make sure you treat them like they're important to focus on them first. Alright, we are going to be moving on to the 6th and last pro tip, and it is hardly ever talked about, but you are going to use a scanner, and of course I know that you are like me, you want to scan things that index as much as you can, but show off your discoveries to other people. Well, one thing is obviously you can see you get units for scanning, and the more you upgrade your scanner, the more units you get per scan. But that's not the only thing you can do with your scanner. You go in and look at your discoveries after each scan. You'll see that if you find all the fauna on planets and upload them, you will be awarded a handful of nanites. You can do this with the plants as well as the minerals and the planets themselves. All you have to do is press the arrow on them to upload them. This is a really good way to make money in nanites quickly. Real quick, I will show you guys a couple of bonus tips here at the end of the video. And that is, see that pulsing circle in my envelope? That shows that there is an enemy nearby, and it can also show that you are about to get scammed. It is known as your early scanning detection. One other thing about your ship that is not told to you is if you press up on the D-pad, you can divert energy to your weapons, engines, shields, and have a balance so that you are have a good balance of every unit in your ship. It just gives you more control whenever you're flying through space, and should you encounter a battle, or you're just trying to get away quickly, or you need more shields to push you through a fight. that is all I have for you guys today. Thank you guys so much for watching. I'll see you guys next time.